other paper that also very important for Sri Lanka. Protection of rights of Sri Lankan women from street harassment. That's another innovative area. The author is a third-year undergraduate of our faculty, completed diploma in marketing and certificate course in human resource management. Areas of research: human rights law, women rights, humanitarian law, and commercial law. Floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Dr. Pratibha Mahanamaheva, other presenters, and ladies and gentlemen. Within the limited time period, I will be discussing the four corners of my research, that is the protection of the rights of Sri Lankan women from street harassment. Street harassment is a form of discrimination against women which directly affects their rights and it violates their dignity. And also the patriarchal society has created the men's attitude of supremacy, and ultimately women have become the victims of such gender stereotypes. When women experience verbal or physical harassment done by strangers in public streets, it limits their freedom of movement. And also street harassment may vary from minor to major offenses, starting from catcalling to rape. And it is evident that there is a law for severe and major offences such as rape. But the root cause offences which pave the way for severe offences, or rather the offences which are committed as rape tests, have not been adequately addressed within the existing legal framework according to the research I have conducted. Therefore, that is the reason why I have addressed this scope in my research. And the objectives are to identify the existing legal framework regarding street harassment, to explore the adequacy of the legal framework to address the issue of street harassment, and to assess whether the laws alone can remedy the issue of street harassment. And the categories of, and when it comes to existing laws, the section 345 of the Penal Code Act, number 22 of 1995 of Sri Lanka, states sexual harassment as a criminal offence. And under the provision, under this provision, street harassment can also be addressed. But the issue in that is you need hard evidence to prove it as a criminal offence, and you need a high burden of proof. And the next is the Vagrants Ordinance, and section 3 of the Vagrants Ordinance states that who persistently and without lawful excuses follows a course or addressed by words or signs any person against his will and to his annoyance shall be imposed with a fine not exceeding 10 rupees. In this section, the streets are explicitly addressed, but the offences are vague, in which what amounts to words or signs fail to give a clear picture whether the acts like catcalling, whistling, leering and groping fall within this section. Also, the maximum fine is 10 rupees. According to the present situation, according to the contemporary society, this is not adequate and it cannot be addressed, which means that this ordinance is clearly outdated and is not up to the standards to address the present scenario. And also, when it comes to Convention on Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, and this is a primary international mechanism in respect of protection of the rights of women. And Sri Lanka is under an obligation to ensure that rights of women are protected and promoted within the country. But a question arises as to whether when this type of street harassment occur within the country, whether Sri Lanka is in comply with this convention and also with the Women's Charter. And according to the questionnaire I have conducted, these are the categories of street harassment faced by women frequently. 40% of women face catcalling, 12% whistling, 2% leering, 12% stalking, 10% groping, and 24% public exposure of genital organs. According to this research, what is identified is that men do not feel fear to engage in this harassment. It is because a deterrent effect has not been created within the society, and these people may think that these are minor offenses, but when you think from the side of women, it is an embarrassment and it is a frustration for them. And this even men show their the sense of masculinity towards women, and it embarrasses and frustrates, and it makes women feel insecure and unsafe, and it limits their access to public places. And also, most of the women stated that this has become a social menace among men, and it is also a habit. It has developed up to a habit because of the reason that there is no proper law to address this issue. And according to the United Kingdom law on street harassment is a specific. There's a specific and a prominent law which makes street harassment illegal under Section 5 of the Public Order Act 1986. And this is a civil offense in which it has identified it includes verbal and physical harassment. Therefore, the researcher seeks to propose a civil law remedy to be implemented in Sri Lanka, and in order to implement this civil law, the different categories of offences have to be identified, because when it comes to verbal harassment such as catcalling and whistling, it is hard to prove. And also harassment such as stalking, groping, indecent physical contact, and public exposure of genital organs can be proved. Therefore, it is intended that to propose a civil law remedy to physical and action-based harassment, but it also should include the verbal harassment in order to create a deterrent effect among these people who commit such offences. As per recommendations, imposing penalties should be imposed, and spot fines should be imposed to remedy this issue. This cannot be totally eradicated, but this issue can be controlled, because now there is no control and it has become a habit, as I mentioned before. Therefore, imposing penalties would be a remedy for this. And also, law enforcement training should be given to the responsible authorities. According to the research I conducted, many women stated that when they complained such street harassment to the police authorities, the police officers themselves have humiliated these women for complaining such issues. The reason is that they consider these to be minor offences, and they do not care about the impact it has on women. And also, awareness programs should also be conducted, such as billboards and cutouts can be put up, because when such a message is given, when the harassers see those messages, it passes a hint to them that, yeah, I'm a harasser, kind of message is passed to them. And also, education or awareness should be given to people to respect women and to respect the dignity of women, and not to objectify women or not to treat women as object, but as human beings. And also, men also should be taught to feel the embarrassment and the frustration that women undergo when men commit such offences. And also, the law can be imposed, but the law alone cannot remedy these issues, because attitudinal changes should be inculcated within the society over time, and it cannot be done overnight, and it is a long process. And also, this further reveal that the dress or the outfit you wear has no impact or no bearing on the street harassment. And also a survey done by a non-profit organization proved that 97% of women face street harassment in Sri Lanka. And also there is this social perception that street harassment is a compliment, and men do engage in such street harassment to show their masculinity because of their age. But when it comes to women know the gravity of it, and they know the pressure or the frustration that they undergo when they face with such harassment. And if, as I mentioned below, if a civil remedy is implemented, it will guarantee the rights, the protection and equality of Sri Lankan women from street harassment. Thank you.
This is if you conduct this research, very good empirical research. You can go with qualitative and quantitative. Basically, this is a very practical issue. Now, if you see under section 345 penal code, how many cases are there in magistrate courts? Only 2 lawyers, female lawyers filed cases, and also 2 women police officers. Other than that, the law is very clearly saying, but who will come and give evidence? And finding evidence is a big problem. And the other thing, my idea, you have to abolish this Vagrants Act, Vagrants Ordinance. Now, you specifically said freedom of movement is there. But you know, if a lady with a handbag and umbrella standing near a bus stand for more than 1 or 2 hours, is police 119 coming? And I'll tell Singhala Anangi mokada utanta vela karanne Anangi bendalada. Likewise, they are asking several things. These are all practical issues. So it's a very important qualitative study. An awareness program Sri Lanka Legal Aid Commission conducted. They had a poster week, and also in every bus they pasted those posters. What is section 345? What is a punishment? But still it's happening. That's why we have every police, women, child and women care desk. So likewise, we need more law reforms. And also when you are citing these slides, existing laws, first you can say UN conventions, and then you can state domestic legislations, and you can propose. Because you have done a very good qualitative study, I saw that. So you have to basically discuss in more qualitative statements. Thank you very much. Next presentation.